And now the ending of Squid Game Season 2 was very bleak, and it's left us with a lot more questions about this world and how the game works. But they have confirmed that Season 3 is happening and it's the final season. And now throughout Season 2, we saw player number 1, aka the front man from Squid Game Season 1, and also throughout Season 2. So in today's video, I'm just going to be giving my theories and speculation on what will this character do in Season 3. Will he turn good, or will he just stay like this? And how will the events of Season 2 affect Season 3 when it comes to this character? So please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. And if you guys want more Squid Game content, please like the video and leave a comment down below. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. And now, as we all know, in Squid Game Season 2, the front man is a contestant of the Squid Games in this season, and he is player number 1, just like how Ilnam was in Season 1 of Squid Game. And now, the interesting thing about this season is that we know that the front man is bad, right? We know that he is behind all of these games, whereas in Season 1 we didn't know that player number 1 was behind the Squid Games. And I think that that brings a lot to the table when it comes to the character and his development, because we have seen this character in Season 1 and how he behaves. For example, when the frontman was about to shoot his brother Junho, he spared his life. He shot him in the shoulder, and then he basically ensured that he was going to be saved by the captain, right? And we do know that the captain of the ship in Season 2, he does turn out being bad, right? He is basically working with the frontman to, steer the characters in another direction and not make them find the island. So if you consider that, and also if you consider the fact that he did donate a kidney for Junho in the past, I think that he is a good person at heart. And also we have seen in Season 2 that he works with Gi-hun, and it seems like he genuinely does care about his teammates. For example, with player 222, she is pregnant, so he does care for her. He gives her extra food, and he ensures that she makes it out of the games alive, right? And he always asks her, how are you doing, and stuff like that. And with his wife also being dead, right? And that's a huge detail that is in Season 2 that we did get some backstory of the frontman, is that his wife is dead. And we do also know that the frontman was a contestant in the 2015 Squid Game, so it is very likely that he joined the 2015 Squid Game to get some money for his wife's treatment. He comes back home, and then he finds out his wife is dead, which led him into this dark path, and he becomes the frontman. So with him taking care of player 222, it could lead into a redemption arc in Season 3, because also with the post-credit scene of Season 2, it does seem like that the games do continue, and so most likely 222 is forced to play again. So what if we do get some sort of situation where she is about to die, and in a way to redeem himself, right, in a way to correct his past mistakes, right? He thinks that, my wife died due to lack of treatment and also him not being there. So then he saves player 222 from death, because also she's pregnant. So he finds a way to save her, to correct his past mistakes, and to redeem himself. Now, we don't know if it's going to be a sacrificial death, if he's going to sacrifice himself in some sort of way, but I do have a feeling that player 222 is going to be saved by the frontman as a way to redeem himself. But I also think that him sparing Gi-hun will be very crucial for the plot of the next season. And now, as I mentioned before, we saw in the post-credit scene for Season 2 of Squid Game that the games do continue. And a lot of people are theorizing and speculating that the frontman is going to force Gi-hun to play the next few games. And I don't believe that, right? I don't think that he's going to make Gi-hun play the next few games. What I think he's going to do is that he's going to force him to watch all the games, right? He might, imprison him somehow in the island, and he's gonna put like a screen in front of him showing him all the deaths, and basically, just keeping an eye on him, because if he does let Gi-hun play the rest of the games, he's just gonna find a way to convince the people that, you know, we should all vote out. But I think that because of them rebelling against the guards, I think that there's not going to be any sort of option to vote out anymore. And you know, like, this could go either way, right? Maybe he lets Gi-hun play the rest of the games, but this time you can't vote out. Hell, even there might not be any prize money in the next season. This could just be an entertainment plainly for the higher ups. But if there is still prize money, and if there is still an option to vote, I think that Gi-hun is going to be imprisoned by the front man. He's going to be forced to watch, and of course how the people are in the Squid Game world. They're very greedy, right? And it's basically a reflection of today's society as to what people could do for money. So it's very likely that no one's going to vote out, and he's going to be forced to watch until the very end of these games, and just he has to see all this death. And during this process, I think that Gi-hun will have some time alone with the front man, and he will talk him out of it, and maybe he might change his heart somehow, because these two characters are very similar. Whereas the front man was the winner of the 2015 Squid Game, and he went down this dark path to become the front man, because most likely due to his wife's death and him not knowing what to do with the money. Same thing with Gi-hun, right? He comes back home to his dead mother, but he finds a way to put that money to good use to rebel against the games, right? To find the higher ups and to take them down finally, right? He has more of a noble cause, whereas the front man, he joined them. So like, maybe somehow, like, Gi-hun will try to convince him to let him go, to let the people go, and to make good use of this money, and to finally take down the higher ups. Because in Squid Game Season 1, we did get a hint that there are other games around the world that are just like this games, right? And the higher ups from different countries, they do host these games, and then, you know, all of them watch together and they bet money on it. Maybe they find a way to take down the higher ups, and, you know, to finally put a stop to the games, right? And by the end, they donate all the money, right? They give it to people in need, because all of the contestants are people in need, and they're just playing just to win the money, so then they could help their own financial needs, right? So what if by the end of this season, right, by the end of the final season, the front man turns good, he uses all the money for good, and he finally takes out the higher ups, and that's where we get the closure to this series. And another thing that really does help the case of the front man turning good is that he's been through everything, right? Like how I mentioned before, he did participate in the 2015 Squid Game. So he's been through everything, he's played all the games, and he was in need of money, right? He won that money as well, whereas Ilnam created the games, right? So he doesn't know what it's like to be that desperate for money, whereas the front man does know, right? He's seen everything and he's won the money, but he just went through that dark path. So we do know that he was a normal person before, right? He's lived a normal life before, and he's joined the Squid Games, right, in 2015, and he won. So maybe he does have a little bit of humanity left, and he does put a stop to the Squid Games, right? And we did see a lot of times that by heart he's a good person, and like how I mentioned before, like, he does have a strong bond with his brother. He didn't kill him, and also he did donate a kidney to him. So by the end, I believe that Junho is going to find a way to find his brother, and he's going to change his heart somehow, right? With the combined efforts of Junho and Gi-hun, I think the front man will have a change of heart, and he will turn good, because they have been hinting towards that, right? He's not entirely bad. We've seen it throughout season 2, and I think they're really going for this story, and they're going for that conclusion that he's going to turn good by the end. But if he doesn't turn good, I think he might die by the hands of Junho or Gi-hun, right? And it's been teased quite a bit that maybe he's looking for a replacement, right? He's looking for a new frontman, and he sees that in Gi-hun. Maybe that's the reason why he spared him, right? He wants him to watch everything. He wants to explain his case and eventually get him to become the new frontman. And I think the process works like this, that whoever's a winner of the Squid Games, they have the opportunity to become the new frontman, right? We've seen it with the frontman himself. He was a winner of the 2015 Squid Games, and he became the frontman. So maybe he might find a way to get Gi-hun onto his side, and maybe that's the way that this series ends, right? Maybe Gi-hun turns to the dark side, and the Squid Games continue in a very bleak ending. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to see more Squid Game content, please like the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.